We're over here by the 435 Big Bud. This divider box here was getting pretty hot last time Nick was running it. So we're gonna take this over to the shop, drive around a little bit and see if it kind of gets hot again. But a lot of little projects kind of going on right now, but we'll get it figured out. Always seem to. First up on the list of things to do, that thing right there. You can see it's kind of discolored because we've already tried working on it. The spherical bushing in here is toast. It is gone, destroyed. But unfortunately, it's fused this pin to it. And we tried jacking it, and we actually bent this lip up a little bit and started lifting the whole tractor up, trying to push that pin out. We tried to beat it down this way. We've tried to heat it. We just can't get it to go. And I don't want to destroy the cylinder. I don't want to destroy this arm that it attaches to. So I think we're going to bring in the torch, and I'm going to start cutting on this. It's going to be nasty. There's going to be a lot of smoke. There's a lot of grease around here. But I'm just going to start cutting and to see if we can get this thing to budge. Maybe just getting it really red hot, cutting and cutting as it go. I might be able eventually, as it cools down, to punch it out. But some reason that spherical bushing is fused. The other side is still working, but when I find out the size for this one, I'm going to buy two, and we're going to replace both of them. So I've just been cutting at it and cutting at it and cutting at it. Now I'm dumping water on it to cool it down, the pin. I'm gonna see if I can get it cooled down enough where it might shrink. Some with that spherical bushing is sideways and it is pinching it and it will not let it go. Let's keep chiseling on it. Well, I'm thinking now, I'm gonna try to drill down. I've got like 1.5 inches or more, or 2 inches melted out of the pin on the bottom, so it's the top. But there was originally the grease hole that went through a chunk of it to grease the inside of it. So I'm gonna see if I can drill a hole straight through, and if I get a hole through, then the slag, the molten metal, as I start cutting, will be able to go straight through down to the ground. It won't just pool in there like a molten hot pool of fire. What do you think? Does that look nasty or what? All right, let's see if we can chisel it out. Oh, I think we're finally going. Ugh. An hour later. That was all that's left of it. I think there's still some stuff in here. All right, so spherical bushing is still flopping around. Let's see if we can slide the cylinder over. The top of my foot is on fire right now. So are my hands, but you guys are probably like, well, idiot, why don't you wear gloves? I have gloves. It's called skin. Only one way to make your hands tougher, that's to make them suffer. It is really close. There we go. There we go. There we go. There's that evil spherical bushing. Yes. There. Oh. Look at this. That's the bugger right there. See? Should I touch it? I'll touch it for you guys. No, I won't. Did I cut that up real bad? No. I think we'll be able to clean that up. Cylinder. But that's a spherical bushing that turns sideways in there. I'll chisel the rest of that out. So we'll measure the circumference, or the diameter from here to here, and then pin size, and I'll go look on the internet.
You know what I think?
And I think we'll find one.
I'm pretty sure, Nick.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it just needed grease.
Yeah, who forgot to grease that?
All right. Pulling this open because Nick was running it and he said it was getting really hot. So either a bearing's going out in it, and we got to fix the bearings in the bottom or the top, but they are puking a bunch of oil out of the seals. So let's go ahead and drain the case. So far that chain looks pretty good. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I don't know if you can hear that. This universal joint here has got slop in it, and there's a little bit of vibration when you turn. That's probably a pretty good indication why it's vibrating like it was. What I gotta do is take this yoke off and then pull the universal joint off, take the yoke off, pull the seal out, see if I can get some numbers off of it, and then we'll get a seal ordered. I took a magnet because I thought I heard something drop inside of the bucket, and here's a little pin, and it's a roll pin. I don't know if you guys can see it. Super tiny. And that just looks like there's one major pin that slides to hold the chain together. I think that's part of it, where it just keeps it in. I'll have to do more inspecting on that, but let's pull that yoke off. All right.
Oh, where is it?
A little bit of little groove marks in it. It's not bad.
Holy crap! Whoa! Oh,
That thing's heavy! Now looking inside there, the bearings look good on that. This looks good. I don't see anything wrong with it. I don't know why it was getting so hot. Maybe just because it's running so much. Probably one thing too is we're running the Bud at a faster RPM, which means this thing's road speed, I should say, faster road speed, which means the chain's just whipping inside there. And then that's probably why it was getting hotter. But I think at this point what I'm going to do is basically take the seal out on the top. It doesn't look like there's any slop in the gear itself. It feels pretty tight, so I don't think I would have to adjust that. But change the top seal and the two bottom seals and slap everything back together. Put the chain back together, which is going to be fun. That's a heavy, heavy chain. And then clean it all up, put new oil in it, and I think we should be good to go. That's the nice way to put seals in. Slow and steady. Okay, so now let's see if we can put the strap around this right here. Okay, hold up.
Is there an O-ring on that thing?
Yep.
Originally?
You got a nice 16 inch.
It's not on there anymore.
No, it's on there. Most people understand this, but for those that don't understand, I'm going to quickly tell you why I'm going to put JB Weld, or you can put cold weld, or some kind of goo that hardens really hard on these grooves in the yokes. And here's the reason why. Here's the seal that I'm putting on. The problem is the old seal literally cut grooves in the yoke. There's a couple ways to repair that. One, you get a whole new yoke, which is going to cost a lot of money. Two, you build that up with weld and turn it down. 3, you use a speedy sleeve, which is not this. This is the installer for the speedy sleeve. But this right here is the speedy sleeve. It's a very thin piece of some type of metal that the sleeve, or not the sleeve, the seal will ride on, okay? And here's the thing. You're probably wondering, why am I going to put JB Weld or cold weld on this groove right here? Well, if I don't put something in there to fill that gap, what's going to happen over time, it's going to take the seal, there's some pressure on that seal, and it's going to start cutting into this new speedy sleeve and push that into the groove. And then what's going to happen is you're going to have a speedy sleeve that fails, and it will not seal very well, and you have problems down the road. So if I build that up, I sand it down, take the speedy sleeve, put it on top of it, we'll be good. Let those cure. Next step that I need to probably do is put that chain back together. Since we got that cover back on, somehow in the process they have these little pins. There's one here, and then there's another one right here. Like little half moon shape pieces, I don't know if you can tell. And I gotta figure out which way they go in, but I have to pull that chain tight, and this is gonna be a long process, so let's do this. Man, that's some pretty gnarly gears in there, I'll tell you. These things are pretty beastly. Now, what I did to get that plate here, because this is a fairly heavy plate, I would say it's probably close to a 45-pound plate with that seal, and then you got the race or Reese or whatever. And so to get that in, the shaft in that big gear was sitting down at an angle. So what I did is I put a nut on the back of the shaft where that yoke was, put a little strap, and hooked it onto the back of the tractor, put some tension on it to pull it back that direction. Then we raised up with a ratchet strap up so we could put that plate on. Because this chain is so heavy, there's some weight to it. What I gotta try to do is I gotta try to lift it up high enough and then wrap a wire between the links to try to keep them together enough so I can slide a pin through. And there's 2 pins. So I gotta somehow slide this one in, and I gotta somehow slide the other one in. I already have something to hook onto the chain. All right, there we go. This is gonna be tricky. Oh, I have a plan. I got a plan, I got an idea. I'm gonna go get a little hook to shove in the 2 links on this side to get it started. There we go. Sweet, that worked. So I basically just took a pick that had a nice little curl. I pulled the chain link up, put the pick on the side, put it on the side over there, and it's holding it so far. Let's see, probably both at the same time. Hey Dad. Yeah. You wanna go on the other side of the tractor, and I'm gonna hand you these 2 pins. You're gonna try to slowly push them in while I lift up the chain.
Can you see what I'm doing?
Yep. Okay. Go up a little bit. Up too far. Right there. Well, if you can get one to start in there. Okay, there we go. Let's see if you can just pound them in while you're rotating it.
Okay, now I'll need something to...
Need a punch?
Something a little farther.
Is it there? Yep. Yep, we got it. Now, when I'm tightening this chain, we want to make sure these are equal amount of turns. We do not want the tensioner gear to be cockeyed. We want it to be equally pulled out. So they've got 2 threaded bolts here on both sides, and as they push in, it pulls that big gear this direction, which pushes pressure onto that big, huge chain, okay? So when I do this, I gotta count revolutions. So let's just say I do 5 on that side, I do 5 on that side, I do 3 until I get it all the way out. And then make sure it's equal. It's a good way to start it, right? A little dirty underneath there. I didn't really want to get my camera all greasy. I mean, it's greasy underneath there. But I managed to get the rear seal off of that yoke. Here's the original seal. And the reason why I know this is the original is I've never seen one like it. It's got cork right here, or some kind of, I mean, it looks like cork. It almost looks like leather. And then it's got a rubber O-ring on both sides here. The new seal isn't quite like that. So if you look underneath here, you see that? There's the output shaft, and then it goes over here to the drive line, or the drive line goes in between to the axle. And you see all that grease? It was a really, really oily mess back here. It's just one of those times that you just, okay, let's just fix it. That's what it needed. It just needed to be fixed. Just to make sure that there's no particles and junk inside this chain case, because we've been working around here, took a little diesel and sprayed around inside there. And diesel's kind of like a clean, almost like a solvent. And so a little bit of diesel, if there's some residue left in there, when you put the gear oil in it, it'll be fine. It's not gonna hurt nothing. In fact, that's probably better than if you used water, washed it out, rinsed it out with the power washer. You're gonna have water residue, a little bit of rust. Not worth it. So diesel's fairly cheap considering using some kind of cleaner. It's about the best you can get. Now, finish adjusting that chain to how I like it. I'm gonna try, ask the Pops here what he recommended, and he's adjusted them before. He said about 3/4 inch play. So we'll probably get that same depth. Clean up the cover, put it on the side. And, well, actually, we probably won't put the cover on until we put the yokes on. Easier to add oil like that.
Let's try the other cylinder. Take this one off. So I'm gonna replace that bushing tool while we're at it. I've just gotta take the snap rings off and see if I can push that pin out. I got new pins too. These are kind of in the way. I might try to do this from the bottom. Snap ring number 1. Oh, look at that. That's how they're supposed to work. Well, for 50 some odd years of running, that pin is in pretty good shape. You know, it's not bad. It definitely got some wear marks in it, but I got a new pin, so we'll put a new one in. There's the wear washer that goes on the top just to keep the cylinder from wearing into the frame. It's amazing if you could wear this out, but there's the spherical bushing. Got a washer I'm gonna put on the bottom of this. Oh, look at that. There we go. Check it out. There's the original. And it actually feels pretty good, honestly. A little bit of slop, but I could probably reuse that. But like I said, I got a new one, so why put this in the garbage? Or you guys want it? Souvenir? Now the pins that I sourced already had a grease zerk pre-drilled with a grease port, but they didn't have spots for snap rings to go on. But we have this contraption, a lathe. And so I'm going to lathe a groove in there that that snap ring can go in. And that way, these pins will stand like the old ones were. Simple enough. No strings on the hoodie, right? Oh yeah, that'll work out real great. Let's go grab one of those spherical bushings and see if we can put it in there. Put it outside. It's like, I don't know, 15 degrees Fahrenheit outside or something right now. It's gonna get colder, but it might be cold enough at least get that shrink to put it in there. I haven't heated anything, so we'll see if it goes together, but I don't know why I put it in here, but I did. One of you. There we go. All right, let's drop it in. I think it's gonna go. Socket. Flush, just like the other one was. Perfect. Put the wear ring on. There's a little notch. I don't know why they had that. Well, let's put it on there. All right. First pin's on. I just got to put the grease zerk in the bottom of it, pump it full of grease, and that's together. Now the other side, I have a little bit of cleanup to do because I kind of made a mess, the torch, which I knew was inevitable. There was nothing I could do about it, but yeah, I'm gonna have to go to town. I think I'm gonna have to get a special sander wheel and clean up all that mess as well as that. So we'll get to that here in a second, but that's good, at least one's together. All right, time to clean up my mess I made. All I can really find to clean this is a grinding stone, so we'll try that. All right, your cylinders are attached. Let's go put the grease zerks in. Then there's this thing. It's I have an idea. I took the yoke and I put it on the lathe, and then I took a file and I took sandpaper and I slowly filed it down and got to a point where it looks pretty good. This here is what I'm talking about. You see this big wide gap right here of all that JB Weld? That's where it was literally cut out of the steel where the original seal rode. So if you put that speedy sleeve on, eventually it'd curl it back into that groove, and then it'd start making a sharp angle on that speedy sleeve, and you're gonna cut the speedy sleeve and cut the seal. So this is what I'm talking about. You fill it in, get it pretty smooth, and then what you'll do is take the speedy sleeve, put a little silicone on it,
and press it on the yoke and you're good to go. So yeah, looks pretty good. Now, you're probably wondering, how did I center that thing in the lathe? I took a socket, like this beautiful Case IH socket here that we had, and then I took an adapter from a 3/4 to a 1/2, stuck that inside the socket. So here's my centering tool for my live center, okay? And then I took another socket, put it right there. That was pretty much the right diameter for that, and voila. Ain't that nifty? So you can see how much it filled it in. It's quite a bit. Look at that. Could have bought a brand new one, which probably would have been better. Or you save a few dollars and you repair it. Let's make sure that the Speedy sleeve is the correct diameter. I checked it earlier, but I want to check it again. Out of the box, little pressing tool in, or out of the box. Exactly the right diameter, perfect. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of silicone and just slightly coat the outside of this. There's a little junk on that. I'm going to make sure it's got a fairly consistent bead around it. Doesn't take much. Just put a little bit around. Okay, that's perfect. The Speedy sleeve, set that on top. And then you put your cap on top of that like that. And then I need a nice flat piece of steel. That's why we like to keep some stuff on the bottom there. Like that. And let's add a couple more of these. Pressing it on, you want to make sure it goes on very even. You don't want it to go at an angle. There we go. That's better. I think I'm going to go down further. It's riding down further than that. Okay, let's go see how it looks. And that shaft in the bud. Now before I put it on, grab a little bit of some kind of oil residue. Doesn't take much. And that's just so when you put it on, it doesn't cut the seal of some reason, in case if it wants to. Let's install her, see how it slides on. That's exactly what I wanted. Now before I finalize it in there, I'm going to put a silicone on these splines. And the reason why I want silicone on the splines is you're going to have oil that's going to leak through the splines, and then it's going to come around the threads of the nut, and you're going to have an oily mess. So put some silicone on that first, and I think we should be good to go. Yeah, I like it. And like that, we are good. Let's go finish those other two yokes. Get those cleaned up and ready for a Speedy sleeve. And then we can put those on, put the universal joints back on the tractor. Put that chain case, finish, tighten it up, do a few things to that, and then put some oil in there, and I think we should be good to go on that part. It's weird, it's kind of weird how I'm doing this, but if it works, what's wrong with that? And I just, okay, so that, oh, that'll work. I don't need that adapter. Okay, show this in. Let's lock that down. Now, you notice how I don't have any long sleeves on? You gotta be scared. You gotta be very careful about this thing spinning. But for me to really sand on it and get it where I want to make it nice and true, gonna have the lathe going. Safety first, guys. Isn't that something? Look at how much it cut into it. And that's filled up with JB Weld. Like I said, you can use any like cold weld or JB Weld or something that gets really hard. And it just gonna sit there, not gonna hurt nothing. But now, like I did the other two, put some silicone on it and press this one on. Whatever way we position this one, we got to position the other one to be the same. Good deal. That's on. Now this bottom shaft here has a cotter pin hole, and the nut has little slots in it to lock it into place. So what I'm going to do, so that way I can see exactly where it's at, I'm going to mark on the end of the shaft where that slot is. So when I put the nut on, I can line it up easier with trying to get it tight. As you can tell, here's all these little slots in it. As you increase the torque on here, you're going to get it as tight as you can, but you want to get these lined up with that little pin. And then this little thingy here slides in and locks that nut from ever backing itself off. You can see that there's blue silicone that's squished out of these threads here. And just to be on the safe side so that it doesn't leak, I'm going to add a little tiny bit more just around inside. And you can square it on my finger, and I'll smear it inside that. And then we can put the nut on, and that's just basically in case of some reason it squished the silicone stuff out of it and it has a spot to leak or oil. We're going to try to prevent that. That's the only purpose why we're adding more. Now we just got to pound that thing on with the impact and then get those lined up, and we're good to go. Good deal. Happy to get this back together. It's been apart for about a week now because we were waiting for the speedy sleeves and the sleeves, or the seals. And then we were, there you go, look at that. And then had a couple things come up here and there that wasn't able to. Okay, awesome. I can just undo it like this. I got it right here. There we go. Okay. How's these? We're replacing this U-joint. I was going to use this again, but let me show you what I'm talking about. If you look on the U-joint, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's tiny little, you could almost say grooves or channel pieces, and what that's from is all those little roll pins. When they sit in one spot and a little bit of chattering, it starts cutting into it, and just friction. Chisel. So we're gonna pull this U-joint off. We're gonna replace it with a new one. Now's the time to do it. No question asked. We're just gonna do it. But the problem that I have is I only have 2 U-joints, and I was gonna replace the 2 bottom ones. So we'll have to go in town to get another U-joint. Here's the 2 new ones that I have. We're sitting on the shelf. There's one right there. Oh yeah. Look at that beautiful, beautiful looking thing. Now you're probably wondering, is that wear and tear from not greasing it enough? That's a good question. I would say a combination of yes and no. yes, if you put more grease in it, it probably would last longer. And I'm going to say no, because those look pretty darn old. Those are old U-joints. And with all that torquing, it wears on them. So there's a possibility we didn't grease it enough, and there's a possibility it was over-greased and still didn't have
Well, it could have
enough.
got plugged on the one side and didn't force grease in it.
True.
You had grease coming out of one cap, but not the other because it got stiff in there.
That's true. That's true.
And so you think when the grease is coming out of one, you think, oh, you must have a grease, because you don't want to just keep pushing grease in it.
Well, the reason why he's saying that, and he's got a good point, is this other side over here actually is fairly smooth. This side here is quite a well, washboardy, I guess you could say. Not like this. That's not washboardy, but like that. Let me beat on it for a little bit. There's one on each side of this thing.
Oh, there is. Okay. That's smart, putting them on both sides. More. One more. Okay.
Hey, good. Pins didn't come out. Awesome. So the oil that came out of this, I'm pretty sure was 30 weight. It was pretty thick stuff coming out of here. We know a couple friends that have big buds, and they've been putting 1540 engine oil in it, and they've had great success on the chain. So we're just gonna do the same thing. It's gonna be a while. If I had to guess, it's probably about 9,000 gallons of oil we're gonna put in this chain case. It's a big chain case, so about 9,000 gallons. Liters, about 2 liters. Well, we pretty much did what we needed to do for the little bud for right now. We're gonna take this out of here, and then we're gonna do a couple other things in the shop before we kind of get to the next project. But yeah, I think this little tractor right here is good to go for a little bit. Just need a little bit of TLC, and hopefully those leaks slow down, if not stopped. And I'm hoping they stop, because I really don't like leaky stuff. You wanna go for a ride? Let's go for a ride. Is Grandpa going too? Come on, Grandpa! Come on, Grandpa!
Oh, Kobe, how's it, Bowie? Wanna go for a sled ride? Huh? Are you in? Oh my gosh!
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, because, well, got a couple things accomplished. But it's my time to start cleaning the shop, because Nick's busy working on his house, so. Can you yell at me, Dad? Tell me to clean the shop?
Okay. Hi, Scott. Is that, I didn't yell loud enough, I guess.
You guys stay classy and God bless. I'm gonna clean the shop.